What is up, ladies and gents, and welcome back to the Tech Cash House. So if you like this content, feel free to leave a like, share, and subscribe, and hit that little notification button below to receive an update every single time the Tech Cash House uploads another video. I personally believe that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are one of the best means of wealth distribution in the current age. Now, I'll probably get several questions and comments asking me, what is your true stance on Bitcoin? In this video, you've been talking it up, and in your other recent videos, you've been kind of critical of it. What do you really think? Where does your opinion lie? So into that, I would answer, I think that cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin have good aspects and bad aspects. Just like anything else in life, there are pros and cons to cryptocurrency. So while I have been fairly critical of some of Bitcoin's bad aspects, or neutral aspects rather, in the recent past, I honestly do think that it has some positives, and this video will cover one of them. So, over $1/2 of $1 trillion. You might be thinking, what is that? The GDP of the United States? The United States total purchasing parity? The GDP of Hong Kong? And no, all of those guesses would be incorrect. That's the total amount of cryptocurrencies in the world. Now, 218 billion USD of that market cap belongs solely to Bitcoin. And that just shows how dominant network effects can be. Because of Bitcoin technology, the power to create and exchange money was granted to every person on Earth, and is no longer the monopoly of kings and oligarchs. The printing press of Martin Luther's day did the exact same thing for the power to create and exchange information, which started the Renaissance and led to the Industrial Revolution. It's a return to the original spirit of why money was invented in the first place. There is immense wealth being created right before our very eyes, but it is happening so fast that most people are ignoring it. I remember when I was a young boy, I loved reading the Guinness Book of World Records, and one of the most fascinating things for me was the list of richest people in the world. In the late 80s to early 90s, it was consistently the Sultan of Brunei, with his golden throne, 200 Ferraris, and a gold-plated Rolls-Royce that made the top of the list. Then, in the late 90s to early 2000s, it suddenly became Bill Gates and a bunch of other geeks that made it to the top. Where did all these people come from? How can a bunch of geeks writing software, wearing sneakers, and working from their garages become wealthier than a sultan with solid gold chairs? Why did this happen? It happened because there is so much more value in a global network allowing people to store, exchange, and transfer information than in shiny, yellow rocks and fossil fuels from under the ground. The exact same thing is happening today in the cryptocurrency world. Suddenly, geeks who toiled over establishing the Bitcoin network voluntarily and thanklessly for years and years are being paid back by the very software they helped build. Traders who believed in projects and invested the small amount of money they had left along with time and effort into building these projects are seeing 1,000% up to 30,000% increases in the value of their net worth in cryptocurrencies. Pioneers are paving the way for new generations of financial applications that will usher billions of new users to the internet economy. There are some among them who are already approaching billionaire status, and many more will follow. Wealth creation is a good thing, and the concentration of this wealth is not necessarily a bad thing. How the wealth was acquired is what is important. Honest wealth. Bitcoin is honest money. No coercion, no unfair advantage, no abuse of power, and no abuse of labor was needed to establish the newfound wealth of the original Bitcoin and cryptocurrency trailblazers. This is why trust fund babies who have been trading for decades like to speak poorly of Bitcoin. They can't accept the fact that a geek who took an early risk on an unknown technology is now much wealthier than they are. In the same way, I can imagine a guy sitting on a solid gold throne must have scoffed at the idea of a geek in a garage being richer than he. Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies will make a lot of people financially independent, and that's a great thing. Millions of people who never had access to capital will be able to pursue their goals and build things that could ultimately help humanity as a whole. A Bitcoin developer was asked, and I paraphrase, if you work voluntarily to help the Bitcoin network, who pays you? Why do you do it? His response was, Bitcoin pays me, so I pay it back to Bitcoin with my time and effort. I think that's really all that needs to be said for this video. Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are helping spread wealth around, and that's fantastic. We have recently entered a new gilded age, with many of the super wealthy having more money than the lower 99% of the population. I can only hope that in the future, cryptocurrencies and other online means of payment and investment continue to help the ever-shrinking middle class and help raise the lower class up from despair. But only time will tell. As always, thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot to us here at the Tech Cash House. The Tech Cash House is funded by viewers like you, so if you enjoyed this content, feel free to check us out on Patreon. As always, it's been Mike from the Tech Cash House, signing off.